Well, here we are today with Mariqus Alexander. He is one of the top, I would say, professional investors. He's also a realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're super excited to kind of tap into your world. Mariqus, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Jan. I appreciate it.
Well, it's one of those things. We have some extra time here, so we might as well, talk and collaborate together on what's going on. How do you, number one, let us know who you are, kind of how you got into this business, and then what areas that you serve here in this Dallas-Fort Worth area, if not all of them.
Sure, no problem. A lot of people get into real estate and it's intentional. For me, it wasn't exactly intentional. About 12 years ago, I had a friend who was selling houses. It wasn't as popular back then. And he asked me if I wanted to get involved. And I said, sure, I'll get a couple of houses. And I had two houses and just kind of stood still for a long time, for about 10 years. Maybe about 8 years, just kind of stood still. And then I had a friend of mine who was a real estate attorney who was interested in Section 8. And I had some experience with Section 8, and he asked about it, and we bought a house. And before you know it, we've done several houses. We own a portfolio of properties now, and we've done several flips. And so it's been an exciting run, going through the ups and downs, and we're in a little bit of a down period now, but still excited to see what comes next.
Right. The big question that we all had is, okay, is real estate essential? And, some of us can argue both sides. And we started really thinking about, okay, when, of course, for some, it might be the owners, well, I'd love to move. I would love to do this or that. It maybe isn't as a need, as a necessity. But then you have these clients that are really in predicaments, these buyers, these sellers that literally have to move. They have to find property. And I think now our government is saying, yes, real estate is essential. We can't just stop this down because it is such a moving train. How have you guys seen that it's impacted your business, kind of the pros and cons during this time?
Yeah, interestingly enough, in terms of selling properties, and especially vacant properties, we're still getting good activity on our listings. I received an offer on the listing, right when this thing started happening. I was a little nervous about, is it going to close? Is it not? What's going to happen to the traffic? But traffic on the vacant properties have been pretty stable for now. Now, there has been a slowdown in terms of lead flow for investment properties that we buy on the front end. And I would just probably think mainly because those people don't have anywhere to go, right? I mean, they're stuck in the house. They're not able to look, okay, if I sell this, where I'm going to go next. And so I anticipate what's really happening are things are probably going to be queuing up. So even though we're slow now, I think there'll be a queue that once everything is semi back to normal, the floodgates are open at that point. And then we'll start to see that demand come back to buy properties that people need to get out of and get on with their life if they stuck in the property for whatever reason.
Well, that makes really good sense. And I know back in the day, my husband and I have flipped properties, and we love to get 70 cents on the dollar. That was the go-to model. And we didn't really mess with anything. You do incredible work, by the way, and you're one of our clients here at Model My Home. And we would say, okay, here's kind of the sandbox that we want to play in. We don't want to move walls. We don't want smokers' properties. We want to basically do lipstick. To a big degree, and that was our model. With 70 cents on the dollar, we could go in, change kind of the skin of the property, stage it, have it off our hands within a month, literally.
Yeah.
What is your model? What do you love to look for? What is a perfect property for you?
For me, I kind of enjoy the big remodels. Okay. They're headaches, of course, because every time you open up the wall, there's something there you didn't expect. But I enjoy it, and they're not for everybody. There's a lot of competition in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for rehabs, and especially for those ones that you're talking about. That's clean, that's easy. Let's just put on some paint carpet. I get those, and I like them, of course, because I need some fast ones to go through. But really, the better margins are on the ones where people are afraid to touch, where the foundation is halfway lifted up and you got to tear down some walls and you got to move stuff around. The roof is halfway missing. So I like those. For me, it is about the numbers. I don't per se say I'm afraid of a big one or a small one. I look at it and say, okay, where are the numbers on this thing? Are we set, 65 cents on the dollar? Can we make this work? What area is it in? As I've gained more experience, some areas are harder to do properties in than others due to the city inspections and what the city will put you through. So now as I've gotten more experience, I started to stay out of certain cities in the area just because they're just difficult to deal with, and it costs, and that's time, unless it's a really good deal. So I'm fairly open. To me, it comes down to the numbers and not so much how much work is involved in it.
Yeah, that's really good. And, during this time, how has that impacted your trades or maybe product? I mean, have you seen a slowdown on people hesitating to work, even though construction is essential? How do you have any projects on the ground now that are active, and you're seeing a little bit of challenge, or has this impacted you?
For my guys in construction, it has not. They want to work. They're like, hey, do we have a next one? And I'm actually in the point now where I don't have anything in the queue, and I'm like, I got to get something going so I can keep these guys busy. So no, they're begging and asking to work from a construction perspective, mainly because they work as small crews come in. My crews are usually 2 or 3 guys, about 3 guys, and they've been knowing each other for a while, and so they go in, do their thing, the next trade come in. So it's not a lot of people around in that environment. And I try to keep, stuff on site so that they can have hand sanitizer and all of that. So to keep them safe as much as possible. But I haven't seen any hesitancy at all from our crews to want to do some work. They're actually some of the other trades that I don't have, like the plumbers, and they're calling me like, hey, you got something? We're still working. So they're still anxious to do work.
Well, that's good. That's really good news. And we're in the process of literally building a property on Lake Louisville.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Well, the intention is to be an Airbnb, small, 2,200 square feet. And so we're seeing a little bit of delay. Of course, we've had weather issues too.
Gotcha.
So it's, investment we definitely love. And I was glad to know, like, let's keep this ball rolling as much as possible. And I can't help but think, Mariqus, when you think about companies like ours, we know that there are business to business when it comes to those trying to find property that you said is kind of a challenge right now. Maybe some of your wholesale companies, and they're kind of teetering on having inventory available, those great deals for you guys. And here we go with the challenge with the real estate community in the first place, which of course is our industry. You have these projects or these properties that are on the market that someone has literally put a sign in the door, and maybe there's not as much margin. Maybe it does need just a little lipstick. Maybe they even tried to stage it, but it was lipstick on a pig,
Right.
Are you guys open to some of those sale properties, maybe that the market has rejected at the moment? They have high days on market, and it's really not that wholesale.
Right.
Are you guys open to some of those projects or properties?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. It's funny you said that. My wife was messing with me last night. It was late and I was a little tired, and she's like, all right, we need to go to MLS and look for anything that's been on the market longer than, it's like, I'm tired right now. I do it in the morning. She's like, oh, so it's funny that you said that. She literally just said that last night. And it's something I actually been kind of monitoring, and I monitor MLS a little bit, but I'm usually very, very specific about a certain area or something. But actually I was looking at it this morning, opening up my search and saying, okay, let me see what's out there on MLS. Like you said, that may be stale, that may be, sometimes what happened is, there's a wholesaler that might grab a property and then just stick it on without doing anything to it. So maybe they have some margin in there I can get into and get a better deal. So yeah, that's definitely the way to go right now. Yeah,
that's great. Just to keep everybody working.
Absolutely.
Might not be as much that you can do, but 2 or 3 of those might equal, and you can get in, a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because you've got the eye and what cities to go into. Well, That's great news. And, real estate in general throughout the country, we're hearing all types of stories. And it has made us think, and I think be thankful that we are considered essential, that we do help, the economy. We do help
Right.
people have homes and roofs over their heads and
Right.
actually have more of that margin, even when it comes to professional staging. Are you anticipating kind of a slow startup? How do you see maybe this next month or two playing out for the investor and real estate community?
I do. I do a lot of analogies with sports, and to me, it's kind of like a sprained ankle or a knee reconstruction, right? You get injured, you have it repaired, and that first day back, even though the doctor says you fully released, mentally there's still some stigma that keeps you from going 100%. Right. And I think that's where we're going to be, is that even when we get the okay, I think mentally people will still be in this state of, okay, I know they say it's okay, but I'm going to be a little more careful. So I think there'll be a little bit of a slow start. I mean, I know I will be, to be honest. I'll probably be one of those that'll be in a slow start. I'm not going to go out and go into a crowded bar the first day they say, hey, we're good to go. So I think there will be a slow start. I think those who have used this time wisely to prepare their businesses for that start will be able to manage that a little better. Those who have been doing their homework and kind of have some paths that they know they want to attack as soon as this thing is lifted, I think will help you get a head start. But yeah, I do anticipate a little bit of a ramp up to things when it's
Yeah.
back to normal.
Well, that's a good insight there. And as far as you and what you're doing to mentally stay healthy, your family, your business, the people that you're working with, what advice would you give those that are maybe listening today, that are kind of, watching the news, right? We know we got to do that
Yeah.
very, very sparingly, but what kind of advice would you give people that are also in our industry?
I would say for me, I've used this time to maybe do something a little different, to be honest. You get a little fatigue from news, you get fatigue from even reading. I'm so used to being on the go that reading is my kind of downtime. I'll go pick up a book or something that, and about the industry that I want to learn, and I'll do that as my downtime. But now I've had so much downtime, I don't want to read anymore. And so I actually picked up a hobby this week or last week, and I just went out and bought some, me a miter saw and some wood and started building some wood furniture. And so just to kind of keep me mentally challenged, it's particularly for people who are in real estate, I'm sure you're used to going 100 miles an hour. You're going to look at this house, you got this project, you're talking to this potential seller. With all that is slowed down, I'm sure people have a lot of time. And so I'm trying to keep myself challenged by picking up a little hobby of something that maybe I always wanted to do, to keep me, just mentally stimulated, because I can, at least for me, I've gotten a little fatigue on just reading all the time. You can only plan so much. I'm more of an action guy. I'm ready to do something, limited on what we can do. So for me, I had to get out and find something that I can do. So that's been a hobby for me.
Yeah, that's so good. And for us, it is, I shared with you earlier, this was one of our really Q3, Q4 projects, this type of next in series where we're bringing you guys to the front end. And we felt like now's the time, we can't put this off. People
Absolutely.
here and want to connect even virtually. So I love that. And we're just so thankful for you, not only directly, related to you with your business but your leadership into, just talking and speaking into people. And, every family matters. Every relationship that we build matters. Every person on the construction project matters. And I believe you are a leader in this industry. So we just thank you for your time.
Thank you, Janet. I really appreciate you guys having me on. You've been a tremendous asset to me and my business with Model My Home, and I'm grateful for having you guys on your team. I think you guys do things the right way, and hopefully this podcast and this series will do well.
Well, thank you, and look forward to shaking your hand someday, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mariqus.
All right.